What did your teacher used to do?
Oh, with our artist eyes. I love you, Jan Carson, but you were
That didn't
pretty
scare
goofy.
the shit out of you?
Well, yeah, she did a lot of things that scared us, but
You
whatever.
remembered.
I remembered.
That's the trick. Scare your students.
That's right. Scare your students. Welcome to 56 Weeks of Us. Us is me. Today, I'm Dan. What's up? This video is for you if you want to learn how to draw a little better, and I want to talk a little bit about that. I can't draw is what I usually hear from people who believe they can't draw. It's not that you can't draw, it's that you believe you can't draw well. Why is that? It's probably because of something to do with left brain versus right brain, and that your left brain is actually dominant. And everyone hears about this, oh, left brain, oh, he's so right brain, the left brain, my son's whatever. What does that really mean? Right brain is creative, left brain is more logical. And you can believe that's baloney, but I will prove to you by the end of this, it's actually true. But let me get into that a little bit. So right brain creatives, like myself, have an easier time of understanding what they're seeing. Left brain is more like, now imagine Mr. Spock. And he's seeing things in terms of like a computer. There's shapes, there's symbols. When you're happy, you see the happy face with the two dots and the smiley face, and I'm sure there'll be a little emote here, right here, next to me on my shoulder, or something that my lovely director is going to add in later. You see in terms of logical things make sense. That's the problem, is that there's this, imagine a little demon on your shoulder. To me, he's a demon because I'm not logic, left brain. So think left brain logic, and he's a little guy, and he's sitting on your shoulder going, hey, that doesn't look like a face. That doesn't look like a Bob Ross painting. You know, that's not what we're seeing right now. And that's the battle. Because on the right side is a right, like you can imagine some sort of creative, happy, like, you know, angelic, happy person being like, oh yeah, we can see everything. I know what I'm seeing. That's a beautiful cloud, and that's a beautiful rainbow, and we know how to make that look. It's harder to do that and translate that to the page when you have less of an easy time seeing things. As a kid, everybody can draw. You ask a bunch of fourth graders in the class, can they draw? They're all gonna raise their hand. Of course I can draw. Of course you can draw. Anyway, we're gonna get there. Kind of define left and right brain. I'm gonna get a little more into that. So when you are an artist, when you are trying to draw a little better, we're gonna teach you how to shut up your left brain and see a little more clearly. Betty Edwards wrote a great book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And it does a much better job of explaining left versus right brain to me, from me or to you or anybody. It's beautiful. In junior high, one of the first actual art classes I took, my art teacher would say, we're going to learn how to see with our artist eyes. And she did it just like that, and made her eyes real big. I'm not gonna do that because I have glasses on. But it was a good exercise. We would all learn how to see things a little bit differently. Part of that has to do with learning the relationships of things as they exist on a page, the angles that they're at, things like that. And one of the first things I ever learned how to do is I had a coloring book, and it had this little fun exercise as a kid. Now this is way before junior high, this is like third grade, and it was Scooby-Doo. And here's Scooby-Doo, and he's in a grid. And you guys have probably seen this before, but you may or may not know how to apply this to learning how to draw, and I'm going to show you a little bit why this works. So here we have our grid. On one side, we're going to copy Scooby-Doo over from this side to that side. And I'm going to have a link down here where you can go ahead and download this and print it out and have fun with it. You can actually do this with any drawing that you want. I chose Scooby-Doo because, hey, this is how I started. This is how you're going to start. So anyway, we go to grid 1, and we look here, grid here, number 1, and we go, oh, well, it's totally empty. I don't have to draw anything there. Great. Grid number 2, we have this weird looking thing. Now suddenly our left brain, and we're just focusing in on this square, and we look, this is Scooby's ear, but what is this thing? Like, I don't even know what this is. And that's kind of where you want to be. If you're left brain dominant, you want to come into a place where right brain comes in here and goes, that looks like an E. It looks like a cursive E. And it's further on this side of this square than over here. Obviously, if we go over here, there's nothing here. right? So we're not going to draw anything on this side of the square. But over here we have this little E looking thing. Looks like it starts up at the top. So we're just kind of go and do this little E thing. And look, another thing you'll notice I'm doing, I hear this comment a lot from people who go, oh, I can't even draw a straight line. Guess what, folks? I can barely draw a straight line. Does that look straight to you? Am I an artist? No, I guess I'm not an artist. I better quit now because I can't draw a straight line. Many people have difficulties drawing a straight line. You ever see those? There's a lot of TikToks going on right now. There's like a circle thing where people do this perfect circle with their arm. Like, wow, that's beautiful. I guess I'm not an artist because I can't draw a perfect circle. You know how hard it is to draw a perfect circle or straight line? It's super hard. When I want to draw a straight line, I either use a ruler like everyone else in the world, or I maybe do it little by little like this. Okay, enough of that one. There's my little anecdotal. Anyways, we have our little E shape, and look at that. We're already on our way to being Scooby. Now this isn't perfect. I know this isn't exactly what this is, but it's gonna get us to where we wanna be drawing Scooby-Doo. I'm also trying to bring in my inner, second grade? I'm just being excited that I can draw something. Now here we go, I'm drawing this other shape here, and I'm looking at the relationship between the space here, and trying to make that about the same. It's not perfect. Now here's where you get tricky. This is what's called a tangent. His line of his ear here is actually overlapping this line on the grid. And we know it's there, and our left brain might go, well, you don't have to fill that in. It's already filled in. Just fill it in. It's fine. Now here we have, we're coming into grid. We practically finished grid number 2, right? This square. I do though, if I'm really observant, I can see part of Scooby's eyebrow here, not his eye. His eyebrow's right here. So we're gonna come in here and fill this in. Now, you probably want to actually fill that in with your pencil or your pen or whatever you use. Please, by the way, materials you're going to want to use are this printout, a pen, a pencil. This actually has all 3 in it. My son gave this to me as a present, and I love it. It's wonderful. It actually has everything in it. Look at that. And I twist it, and now it's a pen. Anyways, you don't have to include that. The point is, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. And then we're going to come over here into grid number 3, square number 3, whatever you want to call it. And this has what? It has a part of Scooby's forehead and his eyebrows and part of his ear, and that's it. So that's all we're going to do. We're going to come over here, start his little, whatever this is. It's a S-curve shaped thingy. I don't even know what that is. Oh, it's part of his ear. But your left brain should be going, look, I'm not really sure what you're doing, but we're filling in these gaps. I'm game. We're making weird shapes. We're going to fill in gaps and kind of keep our relationships. Like, obviously this is at the bottom of the square. Obviously there's a lot more on this side than this one. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but when you're done filling in all these squares, I will not fill in all these squares in this video because this will take a while. You might be really fast though. You might be able to do this really quick. Here, let's just go all the way to square number 4. Hey, we have this weird looking thing. It looks like a spider. I don't know. What is that? I don't know, but it's at the bottom of the square and we're done. We have the top of Scooby and we're cool. I was going to say, if this was giving you problems, because this is actually pretty complex, his shape of his eyes really unique. And this spacing is, I'm having difficulty over here trying to keep this exact shape of his eye and his ear and his eyebrow. And this is actually complex, and part of your left brain might be going, that's his eye, that doesn't look like an eye. And if you really want to shut that down again and get more into like shapes and actually measuring things, because your left brain likes to measure and keep things proper, you can add in another grid here. You can either take a ruler out, or I'm just going to wing it right here and draw a grid here on his eye here and come across about halfway, and just give yourself something to mark up. So look at this. If I come over here and I want to check my work, right, like with math, again, this is all left brain is loving this. You can come back and erase this later, right? But look, lower quadrant, nothing. Here, oh, look at that. I could actually bring this down a little bit more, it looks like, because his eye's actually a little longer there. But see that I noticed that relationship because I added another grid in there. I actually have an eraser on here to make this look a little better. And guess what? Artists use erasers. Wow, who'd have thought? Anyway. Yeah, look at that. This comes further to the edge here. I didn't have it far enough. This comes down a little bit more. Yeah. Look at that. Anyways, so if you want to make it tighter, you add more grid. Don't be discouraged if you have to erase things, or if you're too slow. I'm moving really fast. I mean, come on, I do this for a living. But I'm just showing you, this is, and I thought this was going to be sped up anyway, but it's okay to erase, and it's okay just to, you know, have fun failing, for crying out loud. It should be fun to try, you know. There's a John Lovitz quote, I love it. It's like, if you try and you don't succeed, that's not failing. Not trying is failing. So try, have fun. Stop thinking about what it is and just, what is it doing? Woo! We have Scooby-Doo, there he is. And we're so happy about it. Have fun. If you're not having fun, what are you doing? Anyways, there's Scooby-Doo. So, what have we learned? We learned we can draw things in a square little by little. And we can look at the shapes and the spaces in between. The lines are doing, like, what are they doing? Like, what is that line? It's more about what you're observing. This is more or less, as an artist, what you're doing. You're observing spaces and relationships around the things you're observing and making sense of them on a page. One person made a point one time that artists are actually more like illusionists, because we're taking something that exists in a 3D world that we all live in, and we are making the illusion that it exists on a 2D plane. That's one way to kind of quiet your left brain and have it be, it's like, okay, we're observing, we're measuring, we're looking at things that make sense. So using that method, I found a piece of artwork circa 1995, and it doesn't even have the current last name on it. Look at this. Who's that?
My idol. That really is. It's my idol. What's
Who
that
drew that?
garbage on the top of it right there?
I don't know.
That's 20 years of storage in the wrong
Yeah,
place.
basically.
I don't know who drew that.
Rock did this one. Isn't that crazy? But this is the same method, except, you know, it doesn't look like Scooby-Doo, but she probably had a picture of Trent with the grid on it, and she transferred that grid over here. So you can obviously, the picture you had wasn't this big, right, Rock?
No.
All right, so it's probably off a magazine or something like that, and she put the grid on it.
But it did look like Scooby-Doo.
No.
Just kidding.
So, anyways,
Sorry, Trent.
he is much bigger than the image she had, but that's part of this. That's how they transfer, you know, images up on the big billboards and stuff like that, is with this transfer method. So that's how you get your left brain to turn off. If you want to learn more, please send us tips or send us suggestions, what you want to do, what you think I should do I'm willing to do that for future shows. Maybe there's something you've had trouble with in art that you want to learn how to do. Great, I'm all for it. But I do have another technique I'll show you next time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, what if I drew one of these and actually painted them and mailed it to you?
Scooby-Doo?
I won't do that. Woo! I might do that if you are a Patreon subscriber, though. I think that's a bonus I'd be totally willing to get behind. And hey, maybe I'll paint you something like this. Maybe you send me a drawing or a painting and I'll make it for you. Who knows? You Patreon enough money. No, I'm just whatever. Anyways, I can paint stuff like this. I could maybe show you in future things how I did that. But yeah, it'd be great if you did that. I think we got a link down below here. Also a link down below with the Scooby drawing. Yeah, I think I've yammered on enough. That's it. Have fun. Share your work. Bye. Okay, so we're gonna forego that whole upside down bit and move on with this other thing. Cause what? Yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna stick with this.
Okay, start over.
That's fine. We're
Say
good.
it again.
We can keep going.
Say it again.
Say what again? About the upside down bit?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay, we're not gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not gonna do it.
Okay.
Why would I say it again? Keep that for your outtakes.
Yeah.